Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
what traits do men look for in women for serious relationships after 30? Someone who adds more peace than chaos to their lives. This really is the answer for any thinking man, and this criteria only becomes more important as you get older. There's plenty of guys who are chaotic themselves and therefore don't know any better and will always seek more chaos, but if you've had your experiences, you know what you want and what you don't. Needless drama isn't just abrasive and unwanted, it's repellent. Any guy who's decent and halfway smart doesn't want to come home to a bunch of manufactured problems. Problems happen all on their own in life. A show of hands, fellas. Who wants to spend the rest of the days in peace? Now, who wants unnecessary strife because it's entertainment for their maladjusted partner? This comment is fucking gold. So damn accurate and truthful. Life is too short for unnecessary bullshit and drama. Life is hard enough as it is. Your home is supposed to be your sanctuary and a fortress of peace that you create or have with your partner. You don't need to be with someone who is potentially another adversary every other day when things get unsettled or boring. You and your partner are supposed to be a team and united against the chaos of life and problems, someone to build a good life with. Not with someone who adds to the chaos and problems just because, or who is trying to win something over on you and play petty games to add to the scoreboard. You shouldn't be with someone because you're comfortable or afraid of being alone. Being with the wrong person just because it's easy is counterproductive, and you're only wasting everyone's time, especially yours. Time is money, you can never get that back. Time wasted is the ultimate regret. You are better off alone to be able to find the right person who won't cause unneeded drama and stress. You deserve better. Somebody who is, at their core, kind. This was the big one for me, and I didn't even know it. At the time of our getting together, my partner would ask me after a year or two why I liked her so much and chose her, and I just said it was because she was nice to me. It helps to be beautiful, and smart and clever, as she is, but she was also so very nice to me, unconditionally, and she treats me how I want to be treated, but did so without having me to explain it to her. It just felt right. Same, my wife came up scared all the time. Her father was a mean, spiteful, cruel man. She never felt safe. I grew up in a single-parent household where my mother instilled in me a kindness for all living things. One thing she said that stuck with me is, always be careful what you say or what you do. Because you can always apologize later, but you can never unsay or undo it. That guides my life. My teens and 20s were not good. I was functionally homeless a couple of times, I starved a few times I survived only because of the kindness of a friend. I had some shitty relationships with spiteful, angry women. Then I met my wife. And I give her the kindness, the safety, the space to spread out and exist without fear, to take up space, to finally unclench. And she gives me kindness, softness, and an unconditional patience that my autistic ass really needed my whole life. People always say, love, marriage is hard, and no the fuck it isn't. Or it shouldn't be. That's the person you love. Talk things out with them, be patient, be understanding, don't yell, don't argue, don't fight. Just talk, and listen, and be gentle with each other. Someone who doesn't increase the amount of stress in my life, but reduces it. I'd phrase it differently. Someone that together we can reduce each other's stress in life. Two-way street and all. But I'm an old blissfully married dude. 30s are but a fading memory that I wish to keep that way. Healthy emotional reactions, a caring attitude, and the idea of, I want you, I don't need you. A woman whom is truly a partner in the relationship, not one leading the other but making decisions together. Interesting. It's been a recurring theme in my, currently paused, dating life that men want me to need them. BC wanting them isn't enough. The few willing to actually answer when I asked why they feel the need to be needed essentially said, if you just choose or want me, that means you can change your mind at any time, and not choose me. That reeks of insecurity and is a red flag to me that someone wants me to be dependent on them. I'm looking for an actual partner. We support, love, and respect each other, but are still fully functional, independent, self-aware adults. I used to think a suitable partner had to have the same interests and same tastes in music, art, film, etc. After several terrible relationships with girls who liked the same bands as I did, I abandoned that way of thinking and instead looked for kindness. I met my wife and immediately was taken aback by how sweet she was. She didn't like the same bands as me. She hadn't seen my favorite movie, but that was okay. What I came to realize was that the single most important thing, to me of course, is a willingness to show interest. My wife lets me tell her about all my hobbies and passions, and she really listens and asks questions, and I return the same interest to her and her interests. Now we have both expanded each other's horizons and my life is richer for it. So, to sum up my opinion on what you should look for in a serious relationship, I believe it to be kindness and a willingness to learn new things. Is she interested? I'm kinda over wasting my time and money and energy. Same, getting in my upper 30s and starting to squirrel that money away. Can't haha go wasting that on dates. Also, someone to realize that we aren't going to go out every weekend. I don't want to spend $200 to $500 a weekend to keep them entertained and fed. I have a friend, old coworker who still goes out constantly each week, then complains that we make too little. Some people are their own worst enemy and can't see it. Not a great look at 35. Removed. Emotional intimacy, something we ignore when we are younger because it takes time to actually discover if it exists with someone or not. Adding to your comment, since turning 30, I've realized that intimacy doesn't always equate to sex. Sometimes I just want to be held while me and my partner talk about things with no screens around. You can see someone regularly, but do you really spend time with them? I've realized that intimacy doesn't always equate to sex. Sometimes I just want to be held while me and my partner talk about things with no screens around. Ugh, early 40s here. Had recently started talking to a new woman, mid-30s, and after weeks of texting we had our first date. That went swimmingly, hours of conversation and a nice quick make-out sesh while waiting for Ubers. Second date was a few drinks at a brewery, then a very unexpected and animalistic physical connection at her place. Like, an intensity I don't think I've ever had with someone new. And that was obviously great. Third date, we met again at a mutual location, had a lovely evening, and then went back to her place and just listened to music and cuddled and talked for hours. Some kissing, yes, but mostly just this deep, almost unexpectedly so, emotional connection. I actually thought about how insane it was to feel that close to someone so quickly. But it was fantastic. I almost couldn't leave her place, we just stood there hugging. And then a week later she tells me she isn't sure she feels the level of connection she is looking for and/or the long-term potential. So that more or less crushed me. And it's not the physical stuff I'm going to miss the most, but I of course will, it's the emotional connection, and the absolute safety I felt being vulnerable with her. Time to put those walls back up again. This, to me, is so important. My current partner is my favorite person to be around. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy some alone time as much as the next person, and of course enjoy the company of my family and friends. But if I had to, desert island, it with anyone, it would be him. It's sad that generations before us kind of had this running joke or narrative of the all, ball and chain, secretly hate my spouse, kind of thing going on. Which is terrible messaging to the next generations because it makes it seem normal to kind of dislike each other. That a certain level of misery and distance and displeasure with a partner is to be expected. So a lot of us have wasted some time, albeit all experiences are learning experiences, but we probably could have learned and moved on faster if not for this false narrative, in people where that emotionally intimacy doesn't, and will never, exist. Yes, it's so weird to me when people describe time spent with their spouse as a chore. And I feel so sorry for them that they don't know the utter bliss that it is to come home to your favorite person, or go on a fun date with them, tell them about your day, thoughts, dreams, etc., away from the chaos of all the other weirdos out there that made your day crazy. If they're not your best friend, with benefits, hopefully, why even be together? Experience in blanket fort construction. I love this ha ha ha. Came here to see if I'll stay single forever. I will, assuming you're a girl from your profile pic. Top comments seem to say guys are looking for a girl who adds more peace than chaos to their lives. This is something you cannot do. Sorry if I've mistaken anything. She may be commenting on comments that were originally on top when she wrote the comment, but are not anymore. Seems to happen a lot. Got the same feeling with 70% of the answers. Could you elaborate? I just walked in this thread and all the top comments seem pretty reasonable. Problem is, I don't know if they are mostly American and if it's different in other countries. Last thing I've heard, women after 30 are undesired leftovers. First, don't be crazy or some kind of Insta influencer wannabe. Ain't nobody got time for that. Second, be an adult. Have your shit together and be competent. Nobody's looking to take on a charity case you have to completely support at this age. No, you have no idea how many people rec number 2 knocks out. It's exhausting finding other adults of any gender to hang out with, honestly. Thing is, being in your early 30s nowadays doesn't mean you're financially stable, and lots of people are changing careers after the pandemic. I guess it depends what it's like in your area. Here in Montreal, the city attracts a lot of people that felt out of place elsewhere and are looking for a fresh start. Most of my friends in my hometown have kids and are home now. Most of my friends here are more in tune with the true selves but not settled. I expect the hometown people will have midlife crises and the lost city people, not as much haha. Good communicators, understood and respected boundaries, interested in intimacy and sex, a sense of humor, maturity. I'm in my 30s and absolutely not interested in women in their 20s. Part of me feels like older men who are still interested in women in their 20s, especially early and mid, have something broken in their brains. Just turned 30, lowest I would date is 28 now. Also, I find women my age and older hot. I look at 22-year-old girls as if they're little babies. I just don't get wanting to fuck them. Your taste should change as you age. Edit. For context, my dad is 54 dating a 25-year-old and here I am as a 30-year-old putting a cutoff of 28 on my dating apps lol. I've found many guys who want to perpetually date much younger women, which usually means women in their early 20s, are pretty awful, and looking for someone naive they can easily control and manipulate. I've worked around a lot of dudes who date only younger women. And I'm constantly surprised they can ever find anyone to date them. They always have such a skeevy vibe. I'm 37. I agree, but also, some women are way more mature younger than some older women. We can generalize further and say people. I had a fling with a few grad students around 25. One was a doctor doing her residency and was both funny and mature. I wouldn't think of her as too young. Conversely, my last ex was 35. She and her friends my age and older still were going to clubs that 21-year-olds frequent. They were still making out with random dudes at bars. All single. Some people just never grow up.